On today's DNVR Broncos show, we are diving into the AFC and NFC Championship games and what the Broncos can learn from the Final Four teams. How close are the Broncos to competing with the Bills and the Chiefs for being in the AFC Championship game? And we're making our final picks. Plus, we got a fun draft at the end of the show, and it all starts now. Huge day on the DNVR Broncos podcast. We have so much to talk about. Coaching moves in the AFC. Could a Broncos be losing a key member of their staff? And of course, we are diving into how the Broncos can become and compete with the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills. And we are the DNVR Broncos podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores, presented by Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. And I am joined by Super Bowl 50 champ Todd Davis, and don't worry, no one saw you spill anything on yourself right before the show started. We got you here behind the camera,
yes.
And another reason why today is a big day. Happy birthday, Hank!
Happy birthday, man! Yeah, I'm 28 years old.
Wow!
Yeah, no, I went to the Nuggets game last night, and I had like a couple beers. I said on the podcast, we were talking about Coors Light, yeah. Couple beers, and then had the 2 margaritas, and then had another beer at the game. Woke up at like 5 a.m. this morning. Couldn't get back to sleep. I was like, wow, I really am just that washed.
Yeah.
My 5 drinks, that's far too much.
Well, were they illegal peace margaritas?
Yes.
Oh, well, those are like
They're-
3 drinks in their own.
Which is why we love them.
Yeah, it's
But yeah,
very true.
No, I've basically just been thinking about how old and lame I've become. But that's not the happy birthday vibes.
So you know, if when you're 23, it's your Jordan year.
Yeah.
What is 28?
Royce Freeman.
Oh,
It's my Royce Freeman year.
great!
Yeah.
Exciting.
What does that mean?
28 means I'm gonna put on some muscle.
Okay.
That's
I'm
good.
gonna be running people over, not going around. Lot of special teams.
You're gonna get passed by
Nice.
Philip Lindsay.
Yeah.
So like someone that shouldn't pass you is gonna pass
is
you.
Phil gonna take my job?
Wow. Wow.
Wow. That's dark, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to be the 28. Is Darian's? What number is Darian Stewart?
26.
26.
26.
Okay. Yeah.
Who is a 28? I mean, I'm sure we're missing
Monte Ball.
someone. Yeah, that's what I thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a quick. He
Are
was
there
so
no
sick at
good
Wisconsin.
20? Are there no good 28s? Hey, you here? Could you look up the best 28 in Broncos history for us,
In
please?
Broncos history?
Yeah, Broncos history.
I want to say there was an awesome safety in like the mid 2000s. Who was Nick Ferguson paired with before? It would have been before John Lynch.
Or the Twitter chat also help us
Yeah.
out.
The best 28 of all times in the Broncos jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we got
I'm sure we're missing
Kanoy
somebody.
Kennedy
Kenoy
in there.
Kennedy
We like Kenoy
in there.
Kennedy.
I mean, we got to be missing someone. What? Kenoy Kennedy. All
do
right,
like him,
Henry.
yeah.
Happy Kenoy Kennedy year.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Wow. He was also a beast. Not
Yeah.
so much when he got here, but
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Henry.
Also,
Are you-
Michael Pittman Jr. coming like
Yeah.
you would think Michael Pittman is like your stocky little back wouldn't produce like a 6'5" receiver, but tall wife, I guess.
Check out the mailman.
Oh my goodness.
7 foot tall mailman.
Mailman, yes.
Todd, you're also rocking something cool today. You got a little 51 Todd
yeah.
Davis pop socket?
Yeah, so I got these from the Broncos. So I don't know if
Is that
anybody
new?
can
Wow.
see it. No, it's not new, but I was in my office yesterday moving some stuff around. And I was like, you know what? I haven't even used one of these. in a
Yeah,
long
that's
time,
pretty
so
cool.
Wow.
I got a couple more. I can bring you guys in some.
I would love a Todd Davis pop socket.
Yeah.
The Broncos also hooked me up with my custom Zach Stevens pop sockets
Yep.
too. Yeah.
I've seen those.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're everywhere. So guys, we got a huge day today. Happy
do.
birthday, Henry. Shout out to everyone who's rocking and rolling with us because of course now that it's the off season, we're Monday through Friday shows again. And not only is it Henry's birthday, but we got 2 pieces of news that we kind of are waking up to this morning. The first, Pete Carroll is joining the AFC West. Are you laughing at the Raiders, or how do you feel about this move?
I'm mad. I feel like this is just, a tough division getting even tougher. Pete Carroll, Harbaugh, Andy Reid. I mean, it's a gauntlet, and I feel like you got to try to win 9 or 10 games to get out of it, and then you're either too banged up to do anything in the playoffs, or maybe you can be just healthy enough to make a run. But no matter which way you slice this pie, the AFC West just got tougher.
Yeah, it really felt like the Raiders were just going to be bad for forever, because they don't really have like a path to success right now. They have like a couple good players, and they didn't even play all that well this year. But then all of a sudden you get Pete Carroll, and it's like, I mean, to me, he's right there with like a Jim Harbaugh type hire, where you show up, you take. There's that old saying, like he can take his and beat yours, or take yours and beat his.
Yeah, wow.
That's something. It doesn't matter. Like you give him a worse team, and he still might go and beat somebody. Like they're gonna find a way to go get 8 wins, and that just. It really sucks.
When I realized Pete Carroll was a hell of a coach was when the Broncos got Russell Wilson, and that didn't work out. Then I was like, oh, shit. Sorry, Pete. Because I thought Pete kicked Russ out the door, and it was a big mistake. I had to apologize to Pete and be like, okay, you're actually a hell of a coach. You knew exactly what you were doing, and you got the most out of Russell Wilson, especially when Sean came in here, and Sean did maximize Russ, but Sean didn't want to work from him, and Pete worked with him for, over a decade, and got him to the second most wins. So, unfortunately, guys, I can't lie either. It's a good hire for the Raiders, but I think this is this isn't a Super Bowl hire. Like, they're not going to win a Super Bowl with Pete Carroll, but look, they've had Josh McDaniels and Antonio Pierce as their head coach for the last, 3-4 seasons now. They had to have an adult in the room. They had to have someone come in and be able to run an organization a functional way. And unfortunately, I think Pete Carroll's going to do a really good job of that. But like Henry said, I think he'll get him to be competent. I don't know if I don't think he's going to make them a Super Bowl contender. The crazy thing about this is when Pete Carroll coaches his first game for the Raiders, he's going to be the oldest coach in NFL history. Yeah, he's old. And that's the first year of his 3-year deal, which has a 4th-year team option there. Yep. So the AFC West has gone old. Did I see something that Sean Payton's now the youngest coach in the AFC West?
Yep, he's just a spry 61-year-old man. Everybody else is older.
Wow.
Which means, I guess, the path of Broncos is just to outlast all the other coaches.
Yeah.
Like eventually they all retire, and the Broncos that'll be their time to shine.
Well, we kind of know that coaching is like Sean's life and what he wants to do. He stepped away for one season and was like, no, this isn't me. I need to be in a building. I need to have that itch every single day. So I don't see Sean Payton going anywhere anytime soon. Last year, when Jim Harbaugh joined the division, and it was Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and Antonio Pierce, I tried to make the case that this was the best coaching division in NFL history, even with Antonio Pierce being the weak link there. Now, it really has a very strong case to be the best in NFL history, because every single coach has a championship at some point. Now, we can laugh at the Chargers because Jim Harbaugh had to go to college to get his championship, but he's a national champion in college. Pete has one in college, right?
Yep.
And one in the NFL, obviously, with Russ. Sean has one. Andy Reid has 3. So, there's a good argument to be made. This is the strongest division in coaching ever.
It has to be. And even Jim Harbaugh, he didn't win the Super Bowl with that 49ers team, but he put together a hell of a team. And they went on an absolute tear that year.
Yeah.
So just a lot of talent. That's why I feel like I'm mad, because it just makes it so much tougher. You think about the Kansas City Chiefs and the run they have been on. I was talking to Hank, I want to go on that type of run, but it also means that teams in the division have to be bad. Yeah. During the Kansas City Chiefs run, the Broncos were historically the worst they've ever been. The Raiders were terrible, and they moved from Oakland to Vegas. The Chargers weren't good. They always found a way to lose games, and that's why you can go on a tear. Now,
that's a good point.
All these coaches are going to bring these teams up 5, 6, 7 notches, and now we're gonna have to fight it out like gladiators. It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough.
Okay, so hear me out. 2 things. 1, if you make it to the playoffs through the AFC West, you're gonna be calloused. Can you buy that?
Very calloused.
Very calloused. Okay, so maybe the Broncos will be more prepared for the playoffs than they've ever been. And then 2, maybe because the rest of the AFC West is going to be so good, they'll tear down the Chiefs. So instead, what did the Chiefs go 15-2 this year? Instead of having to be 16-1 to win the division, if the Broncos were, every team will beat the Chiefs, and the winner of the division will be 11-6. So then you only have to get to 11-6 instead of 15-2, 16-1. Am I just looking through orange-colored glasses, or do you see that
I
picture?
think so, because I mean, like, although we want the Chiefs to be beaten and us have to win less games to make the playoffs, you also got to worry about Joe Burrow. You also got to worry about Lamar Jackson. Like, just because the Chiefs are the number one seed, okay, then now the Ravens are, or maybe the Bengals are. Like, this still makes our job tough. We're still fighting for 5th and 6th seeds going into the playoffs. Makes it tough.
Yeah. It's just a lot of road playoff games, and that's not where you want to be.
It's a good point. Well, let's try to paint a let's see if we can paint a rosier picture later in the show. But one more piece of news, and we're going to continue to dive into this. We're going to rank the head coaches in the AFC West on Monday. Plus, we're also going to dive into some Russell Wilson rumors, which are going to be very interesting to Broncos country, so stay tuned to Monday's show at 11 a.m. But there's one more piece of news. Josina Anderson is reporting that Broncos assistant general manager Darren Muge is joining the Jets to become their general manager. I haven't been able to confirm it yet. He has not informed the Broncos of that yet, so still waiting on a final word of that. But how big of a deal is that if the Broncos lose their assistant GM?
It's not a huge deal. Well, I think they do play a big part in, the decisions that are made, like who we're looking at, who we're drafting. I mean, they have like teams of analysts and guys looking at, potential prospects. So I don't know. It's not a huge deal, but we never know how much say he had.
Yeah.
Like you look at George Payton, and he was an assistant GM at one point, and now he turns out to be in his 3rd year with the Broncos, really good at finding talent. Like we never know how much is being said by the assistant GM, so we won't know until like 2 years from now. Like,
and then we'll never.
Will be like, oh,
we'll never connect those dots though. We'll never be like, you know what this probably is? It's probably because Darren left.
Well, if we see the Jets with a loaded roster,
there we go.
We'll be like, we know what it was.
Yeah, no, I mean, good for him. I think the Broncos won't get any comp picks or anything. I don't believe.
No. Why is that?
Well, because he is white.
Yep.
But there was a conspiracy theory on Reddit.
Oh.
Because his middle name is Muhammad, which all of a sudden we don't need to go down that road here.
According to Wikipedia, his middle name is Webster.
It was a joke that got me.
Oh, wow.
So there we go. Because I was like, it doesn't. Because I was going through like his whole background.
Gotta be careful on Reddit.
I know. And then I was going through and I was like, okay, San Diego State, like receiver, like.
You're like,
seems like a big white guy to me. Like I don't think so. Like a couple training camps in the NFL as a receiver. It's like, no, that still looks no. So certainly no comp picks.
No comp picks. They're really cool. There's two things that are really cool about this. One, personally about Darren, and then one that could actually help the Broncos. And I'm gonna tell you guys about that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Ice Shaker. We've got Ice Shaker on set right here. It is the best protein bottle. It's the best thing to have at tailgates. Whatever type of drink you want to mix, whether it's shaking up all that protein powder, whether it's creatine, whether it's vitamins and supplements that you're mixing up in your beverage, or whether it's a little tequila margarita. That might be the vibe on a Friday night. Ice Shaker is the way to go. The really cool thing about Ice Shaker, it keeps ice cold for 30 hours in there, so it's really well insulated. Plus, the shaker balls that you typically have that make a lot of noise and get lost, you don't have to worry about that. This is quiet, but it still has a shaking device in it, built inside the cap. And I mean, if you want to trust people with drinking, the Gronkowski brothers made this.
True.
So you probably know that it's good quality with that. And the other cool thing, they partnered with pretty much every league, MLB, NHL, NBA, NFL, NCAA. So you can get it in your favorite team like the Broncos as well. And if you order at iceshaker.com and use the code ALLCITY25, you'll get 25% off your order. That's ALLCITY25 for 25% off your order. Ice Shakers, support your teams with the best brand of workout bottles on the market, Ice Shakers.
Oh, and shout out to Mando. Here we go. It's a men's deodorant brand. It's hyper focused on keeping every aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean.
Like what?
Pits, belly buttons, balls, butt cracks, and grundles, and more.
Important.
But
it's important.
hitting the big ones. Sometimes I get on our Slack and I have like we're doing. I will spoil it. Those Valentine's Day cards, for social media where it's like it's a pun on the name. And I had a whole list that I sent to you here. I was like, I don't know if I should put some of these in writing because they were pretty crude. Yeah. And I was like, my job is to talk about grundles. You can't yell at me for saying
they're fresh grundles. They're not dirty grundles.
That is
that's true. That's a good point.
It's if you have a dirty grundle, freshen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is, but still they're body parts we don't always talk about. They have all sorts of different scents: the bourbon leather, the clover woods, the Mount Fuji Pro Sport, all sorts of different products. Whether you want like there's so many thigh folds. I don't have thigh folds, but if you do and you need some deodorant for them, there you go. You can get the starter pack. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and you get free shipping. As a listener, you can get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code that equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use the code DNVR at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you.
And shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Use that code DNVR365. All right, to wrap up the conversation on Darren Moogie potentially being the Jets general manager, he is the Todd Davis of general managers. You know what I mean when I say that?
No, but I would love to hear more.
He started off with the Broncos as a scouting intern in 2012. That's about as low as you can start. And you started off in the NFL by being not even an undrafted free agent, but a tryout.
They didn't tell me that, but yeah. That's basically what it was.
And then you moved your way all the way up to practice squad, then to making the roster, then to another team picking you off, then to being a player, then to being a starter, then to getting a second contract. I mean, you made your way from as low as you can go to getting into the NFL to all the way up. Which is just awesome. And that's exactly what Darren did as well. He started off as a scouting intern with the Broncos in 2012, and he's been with the Broncos ever since. He's only known one team. He was a personnel scouting assistant, then a college and pro personnel scout, then an area scout, then an assistant director of college scouting, director of player personnel, then assistant general manager in 2012 or 2022 until now. So it's really cool story for the Broncos, and a Bronco through and through. And because he's been a Bronco through and through, one other thing to this, if he does become the Jets general manager and it becomes finalized, could he help the Broncos out by, if the Jets are trading Garrett Wilson, if the Jets are trading Breece Hall, could there be a little easier path for the Broncos getting one of their star guys?
Absolutely. Like, you remember us, you know what I'm saying? You started here. Do you, you know what I'm saying? Show us some love.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely some ways they could, talk across the table without saying many words. But I think that's really cool. It's a really cool story. I always feel like scouts and GMs should have to like carry around a list of guys that they have stood on the table for.
Oh, yeah.
Like that way you understand their body of work and see like, oh, he was the one who actually wanted this guy, or he's the one that wanted to get Todd Davis. Like I remember, I forget the scout's name, but there was one specific scout who said to go get me from the Saints. It wasn't like a whole boardroom of people.
Yeah.
And I wish they had like, somebody tracking their every pick or every time they sit on the table for somebody, because that would be cool.
That would be really cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if I think Sean might have even said before that he pays attention to that sort of thing.
He does,
you of course pay attention.
Yeah.
But it's like in the NBA where everybody's always like, replay it, whatever. And some players are actually right. Nikola Jokic, almost always right when he says it. But then there are other guys who, they're not right.
You don't listen
to them. Exactly.
100%. And you think Darren probably went into that and was like, yeah, I identified Pat Surtain as the guy. I identified Quinn Miners. I also identified Bo Nix and Devon Vele.
I'm taking credit for everything.
Exactly. All the bad things? No, that was George.
Yeah. I'm only his assistant. I can only do so much.
Right. I can only give him input. I can't actually make the decision. So congratulations to Darren when that becomes official.
Absolutely.
And we'll continue to break down that and what it can mean for the Broncos and the Jets moving forward. But guys, let's dive in to these AFC and NFC Championship games in kind of a unique way with these games. Let's kind of put a Broncos spin on it by looking at what are the Broncos missing that these other teams have, and how far away are the Broncos from being the Chiefs, the Bills, the Commanders, the Eagles in terms of competing for AFC championships? Because we heard from Sean Payton last week, he thinks they're close.
Yeah.
And he thinks that there was no gap between the Broncos and Bills in the first half, and then things just kind of got out of hand and in the second half, and that's why you saw the score being a 24-point difference at the end of the game. But let's dive in. I mean, what do you see from these four teams that they all have in common?
Well, the tough thing about being in the AFC is that if you're going to be one of these top two teams, push for the playoffs, you got to have a rock star quarterback. He can't be average. You can't have a good team. Your quarterback has to be the man. And I think that's what Bo Nix is working towards. I think he had a very good first year in doing that, but that's where he has to be. Now, if we were in the NFC, we can put pieces around him. He could be solid.
Goff.
You know what I'm saying? And we could put a good team. But in the AFC, you got to have a rock star quarterback.
You have to, especially, I mean, and you look, and it's not just Joe Burrow, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's Lamar Jackson. It's Joe Burrow. It's Justin Herbert, who had a great year until the playoffs came around, and then he was terrible. Who else?
All the best quarterbacks in football play.
All of them
in the AFC.
Yeah. And so he's got to be in that caliber. I totally agree with you, Todd. That's where it starts. And for long-term success, that's where it definitely starts. If you want to be in that conversation every single year. The good news is Bo Nix arguably just had the second, third best rookie season for a quarterback ever.
Yeah.
So if you're going to point to someone and be like, man, he can be in that conversation in the future, you can't look at Bo and say he can't be in there. So I think he's trending in that direction, which is good. But I agree, it totally does start there.
You just want him to keep getting better. Is Jaden Daniels the best
playing the best
NFC
right now.
quarterback?
He's playing the best, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and during the regular season, you would have said Jared Goff, right?
Yeah.
And even then,
Jared Goff was balling.
Yeah, for the most part. But then you watch him throw 5 picks in one game, and you're like, oh boy, this.
he had a bad
I mean,
game.
it's not
True.
like
Yeah.
he's not Tom Brady, you know.
Yeah.
Like
I think
Jared Goff
every
wouldn't be
12
one of the
games he gives you one like,
He
what
does.
the heck are you doing?
Yeah,
And then
in the
didn't
playoffs,
they still win that game?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's insane.
because that team is incredible.
Yeah, totally.
Like having a game manager like that is awesome. If you just have like crazy speed everywhere and you just get guys the ball 5 yards downfield and they take it another 10.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think another thing that all of these teams have is really good head coaches, and just starting again at the top, like the most important things: quarterback, head coach. Andy Reid, really good coach. Dan Quinn, I mean, really good coach. We have to see if he's a Super Bowl winning coach because he hasn't got there yet. He had a 25-point lead to win a Super Bowl in a Super Bowl and blew it, but really good coach. Nick Sirianni, I know Eagles fans still might question him, but what are we doing? This guy's a really good coach. And then Sean McDermott, kind of like Dan Quinn, really good coach. Don't know if he's a Super Bowl winning coach, but a really good head coach. And the good news is for the Broncos, Sean Payton, damn good coach, plus Super Bowl winning coach. So he definitely fits that mold right away. So Broncos have the two biggest pieces, right?
Yeah. I think definitely have some big pieces. And I would say the next piece would be the Hall of Fame player. Whether it's Travis Kelce or Saquon Barkley, who will probably be in the Hall of Fame. Like, you need somebody who's undeniably great.
On either side of the ball, or does it have to be offense?
I think it has to be on offense.
Kind of agree with you.
I think just one. Like, you can have another one or two on defense, and that would be awesome. But I think you need one on offense who's like, oh, this guy can make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And not just a lineman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say not just alignment. Yeah.
Wow. Poor lineman. Also, I mean, it helps to have the refs.
Wow.
That's the big thing the Chiefs have.
But
is
only
just
one team has that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were to just look at that team on paper and compare it to the Bills, you'd be like, huh, all the talent is with the Bills, but when you get the refs on your side, all of a sudden that kind of balances out.
I don't think all the talent's on the Bills in this
either.
game.
I mean, not all of
I think the Chiefs
All the Chiefs are actually
talent.
more
Yeah.
You
talented.
think so?
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
Really?
That's
Chris
why-
Jones to Travis Kelce to
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. I
Trent
think
McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie.
I mean, they
You
have
talk about
some
the
of those
O-line,
guys, but-
the
Yeah.
O-line.
Yeah, the
But I mean,
O-line's
the Bills'
great.
O-line's better though.
I would say as a team, who on that team? Who there was only one All-Pro on that team.
Yep.
Yeah.
They can't have a better
but
roster.
look at that. I think I would take that. Receivers are probably a wash.
No, I would take the Chiefs, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tight ends, for sure, the Chiefs.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Running backs.
But then defensive
that might
line.
Be a wash.
Yeah.
Defensive line. No,
Chris Jones. You're taking Chris Jones.
Really? Over the Ed Oliver and Greg Russo? All that stuff?
Yeah.
Really?
Chris Jones and who's the other? What's the end's name?
Karlaftis.
Yeah, I would take both of them over.
I think so too.
What about the linebackers with like Milano versus Nick Bolton?
Nick Bolton is balling.
Really?
Milano's good too. If anything, they're a wash. If anything, it's a wash. But I think Nick Bolton is just as good as Matt Milano.
Interesting.
And then cornerbacks, I'm taking the Chiefs.
For sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I go the other way on all that.
Only thing you're not taking the
That's
Chiefs
wild.
for is owners, because I heard the owners don't buy them anything.
Yeah.
But
That's
everything else is like it's a win.
Well, did you hear that the Chiefs owners promised the players, I think this was 2 years ago, a new locker room.
Yep,
I don't know if it was
I
in the
heard
team
that.
facility or the stadium. And
they won the Super Bowl, right?
they won the Super Bowl, and the players come back the following year, and they're like, this is the exact same thing. And the owners were like, oh, well, you guys won a Super Bowl, so we didn't have enough time
Which is crazy,
in between the. It's like BS. Give me a break. The Broncos did $100 million in upgrades on their stadium in one offseason. You can change a locker room in a month, let alone like 6 months, 8 months. Give me a break. And that just speaks to their cheapness.
And if you cut the check, they'll work faster. You
100%.
People will work 19, 18 hours if you cut the check.
Or you paid 2 sets of people to do it, and you're paying double the money. That's how the Broncos are building a $175 million facility in 2 years, less than 2 years, actually. It started September of this past year, and they want it to be done in June of 2026. How do they do that? They're just paying people to work around the clock, pretty much.
Get to work, boys. That's fine.
So that's fascinating that you think that, Henry. And I'm curious how that. I mean, they have one All-Pro.
They do have
Josh
one
Allen.
All-Pro. But, I mean, also, I go back to the offensive line, first of all, and say offensive line
Broncos did
for the
have
Bills,
5,
I'd say is like steps in front of the Chiefs.
Steps.
James,
Wow.
yes.
What about the interior three of the Chiefs?
Yeah,
That's where their strength is.
Well, not just the strength. They had 2 Pro Bowlers out of 3 interior players.
But you get Pro Bowlers when you're the Chiefs. Like people,
no,
they're
not
actually
O-line.
good.
You don't get.
I
That's
think
the
you
one
do.
position where I don't think people give Pro Bowls
really?
away. You have to be really dang good. And even when you fall off like a Quentin Nelson, he'll get a Pro Bowl year even when he's not his best.
Yes.
He's still a hell of an O lineman and probably
Yes.
should have got, a nod or 2. I think it's very rare that you get a Pro Bowl as an O lineman when you don't deserve it. Because they're not talking about you if you're not
deserved.
Nice as an O lineman.
But again, like their 2 tackles, they might have had. I think this season probably had the worst tackle duo in the NFL. Like they got to the point where they're bumping Tooney out because Wanya Morris, Wanye Morris, I can never remember which is which. But yeah, like because they were just so bad. Meanwhile, you got Deion Dawkins for the Bills.
That's their best player.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think offensive line, that's why I go Bills far better than Chiefs. I go James Cook far better than Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. And so there's the running game right there, which I think is miles better. Then passing game, again, they're just kind of different. Attack different parts of the field. But you go Chiefs because Kelsey is Kelsey, but
I like this. You're trying to shake off the Chiefs love that people think you have. That's good, Henry. I like that.
Smart.
I like that.
You're 28 now, man. You're getting wise.
That's true.
So one of the other things that we've been pointing to that I would say that all 4 of these teams have, not just these 2, is really good offensive lines, either really good or elite. And it's not just the Bills and Chiefs, who I both think have good offensive lines, but Eagles, fantastic offensive line, have had that for as long as they've been good. And then the Commanders also have a good offensive line. Broncos have that. They might have the best offensive line among all of those teams. So I'm looking at like these pieces so far, and it's adding up like, okay, what are the Broncos missing? And Todd, I think the biggest one is the one that you pointed to, an elite pass catcher or weapon on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And the Broncos have good pieces. And I think especially the way the season ended with Marvin Mims having 4 touchdowns in the final 2 games of the regular season and him coming on and Sean Payton using him in different roles, plus Courtland Sutton, he's a really good piece. They still don't have an elite player. And that's something we've been talking about is the Broncos' number 1 priority this offseason. So if that's their number 1 priority and they can use that with money in free agency, or they can go out in the draft and use their first pick on getting that elite weapon, you should be able to do that. And then you have that elite weapon, and then that just helps Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, and whoever your running back is too.
I don't see a problem with it, but we do need a running back too.
Yep.
You look at all these teams; they all pretty much have somebody you wouldn't mind having as a running back.
It's true, man. Saquon.
Yeah,
Saquon.
Isaiah Pacheco, I think, is a phenomenal running back too.
When
he's healthy,
when
I think he's really talented. James Cook, we already talked about him. I mean, come on,
he is,
and they have two over there in Washington. So
they do. So I totally agree with you. Need a running back, and then maybe even an offensive weapon. So those are kind of the deficiencies
for sure
that we're seeing. What about on the defensive side of the ball? Let's talk about that in just a second after I give a shout out to our friends over at Verizon. Man, if you want to be with a phone company that's just going to give you deal after deal after deal, you got to check out our friends over at Verizon. They're having the Super Bowl party down at Empower Field in Mile High, as well as 29 other stadiums in the NFL. And because that sold out, they said, fine, we're just going to hand out another deal. They're giving you $800 to pay off your phone. If you switch to Verizon, new customers can get up to an $800 prepaid MasterCard to pay off their current smartphone loan when you switch. That's right, $800 to pay off your current phone. Just trade in any phone from their top brands with select unlimited plans. This deal won't last long, so don't get stuck on the bench. Switch to Verizon today and take control of your game plan. Visit your local Verizon store for details. Again, that's up to $800 to pay off your phone.
And check out Bet365. Yeah, went to the Nuggets game last night. Had Jokic triple-double with the Nuggets to cover.
Easy.
So easy. Because did he have the... He did have the triple-double by halftime, I think.
So that's...
Well, it was 3 quarters?
So that's 5 straight games where he's done it by the third quarter.
Baller.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm starting to believe some crazy things about Nikola Jokic at this point. And it's like 35, 22, and 17 last night.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever done that before.
Don't you feel like there was like one thing that you could master like that, where it's just like people look at you like, how the hell is he doing this?
Yep.
Wow. I wonder what mine would be. Maybe.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. That is
crazy.
It's
ridiculous. It is nice to be 7 feet tall.
Speaking of Bet365 and those odds, Jokic, with this year he's having, he's still, I think, plus 350 or something for MVP. Insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Again, nobody's done that. He would be so he hits like the 3/4 court shot last night.
Yep.
Whatever, 70 feet or whatever. Ridiculous. If they took out all of his heaves like that at the end of quarters, he'd be shooting better than 50% from 3 this season.
That's wild.
But because he's one of like it's him and Steph are the only guys who will actually try those, because everybody else is like, oh, it hurts the stats. But he tries them and he hits them sometimes, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, no, he's really good. I want to keep betting on him, and I'm going to do it at Bet365, where they've got over 10,000 boosts every month. And if you sign up, new customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose, sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, get $150 in bonus bets. If the bet wins or loses, you can use those on spread, totals, player props, futures, whatever. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365 must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, guys, so let's continue to look around and see where the Broncos can still catch up to these teams. I think with the defense, when I look at these teams, they have great defensive lines and great inside linebacker play pretty much all the way around these 4 teams. Broncos have the great defensive line. I think with Alex Singleton healthy, their inside linebacker play is really good, but they upgrade at that second inside linebacker position, then they're right there with any of these teams with the combo of inside and defensive line.
Yeah, I was interested to see what you were going to say about the defense needs. But
Do you agree?
I agree with you on this one. I mean, I think that I like the way our linebackers played this year for the most part. They had some games where they could have been better.
Better than we would have expected from them.
Yes, but I think when you look at this, the 4 teams that are in the playoffs now, these are elite linebackers.
Yes.
Like from Braun to Luvu to Nick Bolton. Like these are all guys that are all pro types or even potentially defensive player of the year types. Like this is a very elite group of linebackers. So I do think that the Broncos could upgrade that position to find that guy, and that will put them in a better position to, make a playoff push or, make it to the Super Bowl.
Do you know what my dream is?
What is it?
Bobby Wagner signed a 1-year, $6.5 million deal with the Commanders, and he still has it. Like maybe if the Broncos go snag him this offseason, first of all, you got to pay him more because he's playing honestly like as well as he ever has. Second team All-Pro again. But if you bring him in and he can just do one more year and you have him and Alex in the middle, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
I would love that.
It would be awesome.
There's no way the Commanders let him go.
No, and I feel like he's a great linebacker, but he flourishes in that system. It's the same system that was in Seattle. He followed the linebacker coach there. Yeah. So not that he's been, I'm saying a part of his system, but he does do really well in that system. I don't know if he can just come to Vance Joseph's system.
That's a very good point. I would still bet on him.
Bobby Wagner, system player. I like that.
No, I just was always jealous. Like I would love to play cover 3 all game or cover 2 and not have to chase Travis Kelce man all game. You know what I mean? You know how many interceptions and tackles I would have had if I could just sit back and just break on every ball. So that's just a little bit of like that would be not a hater, but I was just like, I wish.
How you really feel.
You talk about dreams. That's my dream.
Wow,
to be able to sit and cover 3 all game.
Wow. That's my dream for you.
Oh my gosh, I felt like I would have. I would have loved it.
Well, here's what we do: Broncos steal Bobby. And then you reach out to the Commanders and say, hey.
Holla at me.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
You need a new Bobby.
3, really good point.
It is crazy, though. We could just
let me do that.
That's a good point.
Bobby's pretty cool.
Hey, why you shit me off to watch it, man?
What if instead of going by Todd, you'd gone by Toddy? Because I feel like that's somewhat like Bobby's appeal.
Toddy.
Bob Wagner doesn't sound the same as Bobby.
Only certain people called me Toddy. Like that's not something like everybody. Okay. And usually they're close.
Did we earn that?
Like
did we earn calling you Toddy?
I don't really let men call me. That's a little different.
Hey,
Toddy. Bobby's like a common nickname. You know what I'm saying? I think
that's fair.
That feels a little different to me.
It is crazy though that like
everybody his name says is Bobby.
Really?
Right? His name's not Bob Wagner.
It is. Could it be Robert?
No, it really is Bobby. Bobby Joseph Wagner. Yeah. It's not Robert.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, even crazier, everybody says linebackers don't matter and running backs don't matter. But then the one trend, I guess quarterbacks, but the one trend for all these teams, once again, is that they have really good linebackers and really good running backs. And part of that is because maybe those positions are important, but also because like if Bobby Wagner was a cornerback instead of a linebacker, even at like this late stage 1-year deal, he's getting $20 million.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can just pick somebody up like that, like the fact that Saquon was $12 million a year versus now everybody's like, oh, we should probably pay $30 million to T. Higgins. Like the values are just so far off.
Crazy.
These are the teams that decided like, we see that the market has shifted way too far, so take advantage, and you just wind up with more talent because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And Derrick Henry was out there as well last year, and the Ravens picked him up, and they made it, on the doorstep of being in the AFC Championship game. Okay, guys, I want you to listen to what I'm going to say right now.
Oh, boy.
The Broncos right now have a Super Bowl caliber defense.
Clip it.
Okay?
Oh,
we got that?
Wow.
We got that? All good?
Wow.
I love it.
All good? Love it?
Do they have a Super Bowl caliber offense?
Eagles... I'm going to get there.
Okay.
Eagles have the second best scoring defense in the NFL, 17.8 points per game. Broncos, third, 18.3 points per game. Chiefs, fourth, 19.2 points per game. Bills, 11th, 21 points per game. And Commanders, 18th at 23 points per game. So, you know how I was talking about, like, the Broncos, of course you remember, yesterday I said the Broncos might drop back to be a top 10 defense instead of a top 3 defense. Even if they do that, which they have plenty of room to fall, they still would be able to be competing with these teams because the Bills and Commanders, 11th and 18th defense. So if they do have a little drop back, like I think could happen, it's still okay. It's still very much okay. But the Broncos do have that Super Bowl defense right now.
I have no rebuttals.
Yeah.
Good, good.
I'm not even going to argue. You said you started it off so beautifully, and so you know what I'm saying, there's nothing for me to be mad about.
Yeah, I would just say again, if you're already not competing with those teams and the defense gets worse, the offense would just have to get way better.
So you're wrong, because here's why you're wrong on the offensive side of the ball. Bills, number 2 scoring offense. This is scoring offense. I took the defensive touchdowns, and I don't think they have any special teams touchdowns, but if they did, I took those out. So this does not include Broncos defensive scoring. Broncos offense. Bills, number 2 scoring offense, 29.5 points per game. Commanders, number 3 scoring offense, which is incredible with Jaden Daniels, 28 points per game. Eagles, 6th best scoring offense, 26.7 points per game. Chiefs, 12th best scoring offense, 22.3 points per game. Broncos, 1 spot ahead of the Chiefs, Their offense is the 11th best scoring offense in the NFL with 22.7 points per game. So I disagree, Henry, that the Broncos offense would have to take this massive step up. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, so like you'd have to say that Bo Nix could be the Patrick Mahomes in order to stay at like that 12 spot, but they don't need to take a massive jump up. Just if Bo continues to progress, I believe this offense will, just from the offense, can go easily from 11th to 8th to 6th, and then boom, you're right there.
So then, but then why aren't they competing with those teams right now then? Because like
well, I mean, they did. They went to the Bills and were a playoff team. Yeah. And I mean, they're in this conversation. They were a playoff team this year. They are competing.
Only stat I would want to see from the offense is just yards per game and how that matches up with these other teams. Because I think these teams, just like the Bills did against us, are going on sometimes 80 yard, 70 yard drives to put points on the board. And I think we just have to add that to what we do offensively, and I think we'll be solid.
And that's why we're talking about running back. Yeah. Is so key for that. Yeah. So I actually come away from this conversation feeling a lot more rosy about the Broncos and where they are right now, despite having...
Don't point at me.
No, I'm saying despite, to your point earlier, despite having... No, I'm giving you credit. Despite having Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen in the AFC West, like... That's daunting as hell. Yeah. But then this conversation makes me feel a little better about it, at least.
All about the good vibes today.
Yeah. It's a Friday.
It's Henry's birthday.
It is my birthday. Yep.
For my birthday, it just I don't feel quite so good about it. I just have to say, like, again, the Bills beat them 31-7. Like that is a big gap, and I know it was close at halftime, close-ish. I think it might be a little bit tougher to make that step up to being on that same level as the Bills and the Chiefs and the Ravens. It is what it is, though.
Yeah. So let's dive into these games. Henry, you're the birthday boy. Let's start with the first game. 1 o'clock on Sunday, Denver time. Commanders going into Philadelphia. Who do you have?
It's the Eagles.
You say that so like it's not even a game.
No, I mean they're just so good. I think the Commanders have a real chance, even though they have a rookie quarterback. I think they've caught some really good breaks, and that's kind of like the Bucs with their fumble is kind of why the door opened for the Commanders to make it to this point. And there are flaws with the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback. That's kind of where I'm at. It's like 124 passing yards per game so far in the playoffs. They have their flaws. They just have too much talent to be picking against them, and they're at home going against a rookie.
Totally fair.
I'm actually gonna go the other way, man. I think the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, they're winning games, and I think they were on the road last week, found a way to win against what I thought was the best team in the playoffs, or the team most equipped to win the Super Bowl. And yeah, they found their method to winning football games, and offensively, it feels like right now they can't be stopped, even though if you have a good defense, you're not stopping Jaden Daniels. And their weapons over there. Terry McLaurin's on a tear right now. They found a good connection and have chemistry, so it feels like they're on a roll. And when I look at the Eagles, I mean, they need to run the ball. They got to be successful. Yeah. Well, talk about Bayou Wagner. He's a pretty good linebacker. You talk about Luvu was a Pro Bowl player last year. Very talented linebacker. I think they may be able to just slow him down because with certain players, they're going to get yards. They're going to get theirs. Like, you can't stop them, but the best you can do is slow them down. And I feel like they may be able to slow them down enough just for Jaden Daniels to, kick the door down a little bit and score some touchdowns.
Do you think it's better is it more important to stop the explosive runs, or is it better like down to down just to keep it, like if you could just keep that down to like 3 yards per carry, like be aggressive, and if he hits one, he hits one? It's
weird because you just got to stop him all the time. Because 1 or 2 explosives, he's rushed for 115 yards, and now you guys had a bad day on defense. You could have averaged 1 yard per carry for 10 carries, and all of a sudden he goes for 90 yards, and your stat line looks crazy. Yeah. So it's a weird thing to say, but like the most explosive play he can have is probably like 9 or 10 yards if we're going to be successful. Nothing over that.
Yeah. That's a tough situation to be in because he's really good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you see what he did last week. He broke off 2 runs over 50 yards.
But only that was my other point. He demolished the Rams, but he did that already. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He knows their weakness. He's better than them. He knows how to defeat them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he can't do it against the Commanders. I'm just saying that was a team that I think he had over 500 yards against them in the 2 times he played.
That is ridiculous.
Absolutely insane.
Ridiculous.
So I'm just hoping that's a little bit more of a Rams thing.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner's not going to let that happen. And Todd, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going Commanders on this as well. I'm pulling for Jaden Daniels. I don't think that Broncos country, and I've seen this, like Broncos country's pulling against Jaden Daniels because the Bo and Jaden Daniels, he's in the NFC. He's already going to win Rookie of the Year this year. Have him be this generational quarterback, and then Bo, people will start to recognize him like, oh, well, okay, he didn't win Offensive Rookie of the Year because Jaden Daniels literally had the best rookie season of all time.
Yeah.
So Bo is really good. I don't think pulling against Jaden Daniels is something the Broncos country needs to do. Now, if you like the Eagles, fine. You don't have to pull for Jaden Daniels. But did you guys see Jalen Hurts at practice yesterday? There was a video of him that came out of him dropping back and doing a handoff.
No, I didn't see
He
it.
is so slow, and he looks like
That
he's
knee,
really
man.
hurt. There's some speculation that he tore his ACL in that game.
Wow.
And who knows if that's true. We won't find out until after the Eagles are out of the playoffs, but it kind of looked like that yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think for Saquon to be good, there's got to be elite. There's also got to be that threat of Jalen Hurts running the ball.
Sure.
And if there's no threat of that, then boy, how much does that help a linebacker not having to pause for a second to see if Jalen has the ball or not, if they know it's going to Saquon?
Yeah, and I don't care who you're throwing it to.
Right.
Like, we'll see if you can even get the ball there. We're stopping the run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why he's out there, because they need that threat. Even if he throws it 10 times, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. They just got to keep him healthy, because I think he looked very fragile at the end of that game. And
Yeah.
so it would suck for, him to go out there, put himself in a bad position, and he get hit. But, they just got to keep him healthy.
Yep. And Henry, Ryan is agreeing with you. He's taken the Eagles as well. So we'll see if who picks up a game here, if it's Henry and Ryan or if it's Todd and me. And then the afternoon game, 4:30 Denver time. It's the game that we pretty much all knew was going to happen at some point in the playoffs. It's the Bills going into Kansas City. Birthday boy Hank, can the Bills pull off the slight upset?
I think so. Like I said, I think they're just the better team. And it's always, you've seen all the stats, like Mahomes in the playoffs. Every one of the there was one of the last 10 games where the other team got called for more penalties. Maybe it was just a tie.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was a tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you know how this is gonna go. You know the Chiefs are gonna get a dumb roughing the passer. You know they're gonna get a dumb pass interference at some point. And you're just gonna have 2 or 3 of these drive extenders. I think the Bills are so much better that it's gonna be fine. I think they can overcome it. I don't love this, but I mean, that's why it's a 50-50 game. So I'm going Bills.
I love that you're feeling that way. Todd, you feeling the same way?
I don't know. I feel like I've been going back and forth in my mind about this game kind of all week. I really just don't know which way it's going to go. I think that the Bills are probably the least talented team that has played the Chiefs in their head-to-head matchups. I think they've been more talented in the past. And I feel like the Chiefs aren't necessarily their best. They just find ways to win games.
Yep.
And then in the playoffs, we know what Patrick Mahomes does against Josh Allen. So I don't know. I just really been thinking about this game, but ultimately I got to make a decision. I can't stand in the middle of the fence. Dang, what were the colors of the Super Bowl logo?
Red
and green, right? So it's supposed to be the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Bills are red too. Yeah, but
they're
you
both
think blue, but yeah, they have some red.
Yeah, so I don't know. Give me the Chiefs.
Oh, you're going with the Chiefs. Henry, with what you said about the refs, Chiefs are definitely going to have the refs call, unfortunately. And I just disagree with you. I think I agree with Todd that this Bills team is maybe the weakest all around that they've been. Josh Allen is playing at a different level than he's ever played before, and that's a really important thing. And then that regular season stat where Josh Allen, I think, is undefeated against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. And then the postseason, Patrick Mahomes is undefeated against Josh Allen in the postseason. We've seen this before, where the Chiefs, it's going to be a close game. They're going to win. There's going to be a BS penalty that the refs have to help the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is going to do something at the end of the game to win it for them, or the Bills are going to miss a last-second kick. It's going to be something that's not Josh Allen related. But the key to this game, just like most games in the NFL, but especially this game, is the turnovers. Josh Allen, this year, when it comes to sack percentage, interception percentage, and fumble percentage, combine those, he has the lowest of those in NFL history. So he is making negative plays fewer than anyone in NFL history.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, on the other hand, have 8 straight games of no turnovers. It's the longest streak in NFL history. That's what good teams do.
Wow.
They don't lose games. And neither of these teams are losing games, but I'm unfortunately going to give this one to the Chiefs. I don't want it to happen, but I think it's going to happen. And Ryan is giving this one to the Bills. So again, we're split. Todd and I have the same card. Ryan and Henry have the same card. Let us know who you guys agree with this week. We each got one road team winning, one home team winning. And to break this game down further, guys, let's do our first draft of 2025. And we're going to make it about this weekend. We are doing a fantasy draft. And it's only right to have fantasy names be in a fantasy draft. And we got Team Henry. Wow, very creative name, Team Henry.
Yeah, no, that's never my strong suit. Team Henry.
Well,
Todd's going with defense wins championships. Maybe a shot at me. I'm not sure.
no, it's just the truth.
Are you picking the defense in the first round?
Oh, you should.
No, I couldn't do that.
No.
And yeah, I know. Hey, happy birthday, Hank, or something.
Oh,
He could have
wow.
done anything. And
Well, I actually was tempted to call mine Team Todd, but then I was like, that's not
Team Todd,
that's
good.
not that funny.
And then I'm going with
Yeah.
the Believers. Shout out to Bo Nix, our guy. So here's how we're doing it. We each get to pick a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, a flex, a defense, and a kicker. Oh my goodness, we have 8 minutes. Who goes first? Producers. Oh yeah,
it's his birthday, right?
it's a birthday boy.
I'll take Saquon.
Yeah,
that's
that's,
always
that's
taken.
Yeah,
unfortunate.
no, I'm
I
right.
think
I
that
know,
was,
that's
I think that
everybody
was
might have just
everyone's
won.
first pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unless now I really want Bobby Wagner to shut him down.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a great first pick. Todd, we'll let you be next. This is a snake draft, by the way.
Oh. Dang, this is tough. I don't really know which way to go. I'm just taking an overall player. Travis Kelce.
Oh,
Come
okay.
on, guys. You just took the 2 best players. This stinks. I'm going Terry McLaurin for my first pick. Now, I get to pick again.
You do.
Wow.
Where do I go here? Terry
Oh,
McLaurin.
real quick. Are we doing the PPR thing?
What PPR?
Yes.
So that's like that's kind of the normal way they do it, where
Yeah,
you get
let's
a
do the
point
normal
for
way.
getting a catch.
Oh, okay.
So it
That's
helps
fine.
receivers.
Important.
It helps balance it out a little more, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, with my next pick, I'm going to go. Let's see. Jeez, I don't know. Let's go Worthy. Xavier Worthy.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So I'm back up.
Yep.
You are back up.
Let me see. Let me go James Cook.
James Cook. Yep, that's a good
That's
one.
the right pick. Yep. I'll take Eckler.
Going Eckler. Interesting. Okay.
I know.
Very
Back up
interesting.
again.
And I will take Brian Robinson to be my flex.
Brian Robinson. All
Doubling
right.
up on the Washington backs.
Okay.
Yeah, you are.
You're just taking their entire backfield
Brian Robinson,
to be his
Junior.
flex.
just to be clear, I don't want to get stuck with his dad.
Any way we can see the draft board? Is that possible? Thank you. All right. Todd, you're up. This is a tough one to not do research on going into.
I know. Let me have AJ Brown.
Okay.
AJ Brown, that's a good pick. Now I'm up
Is it?
back-to-back picks here. Oh, you don't think so?
Like 14 yards last week, 10 the week before.
I like that.
That's
Okay.
all right. He has to go. He has to
Okay.
have a good game.
With my
yeah.
back-to-back picks, I'm going to go Isaiah Pacheco at running back here. Thrilled he fell to me at that spot. And then I'm going to go Devontae Smith. I'll take the other Eagles wide receiver to be my flex right there.
Nice.
I'll take.
So your turn.
Okay.
Devontae Smith to be my flex.
Who you taking, Henry?
I'm gonna take.
Wait, no, it's you.
I want to see who's going to pick.
Oh, that's right.
Come on, man.
Thank you, Zach. Zach wants me to win.
I was just going to say, it's not
I was trying to help you, Todd.
No, I'm going to not let him have that. Whoever
gonna pick that guy.
Yeah,
I was going to
exactly.
tell you, too. I have a great one. You're not going to pick him.
Do I want...
I know.
Dang,
I thought everyone was going to go QB first.
Yeah. Who do I want here? Give me Josh Allen.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Is that who you're going to go with, Henry?
No. Give me Diami Brown, receiver from the Commanders.
Okay.
I'm a little bit overinvested in the Commanders, which I don't love, but he's putting up numbers. And then my other one... Oh, I know, but I don't... I'll take Goddard. Yeah.
You don't sound thrilled about that.
No, I think I would have been just as happy with a different one.
What do I need? You hear?
Todd, you need...
I can't see. I got 2 running backs. No, I took 2. James Cook and... Oh, no, Travis Kelce. All right, you're right. Say it to me one more time what I need.
Running back, receiver, flex, defense, kicker.
This is horrible.
We got to go quick. Speed round.
No, I already got a tight end. Yeah, there's no more good running backs, though.
No.
No, he's gone.
Yep.
Give me give me Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to go with my back-to-back picks. I'm just going to do what Henry did. I'm going to go Kareem Hunt, just stack the Chiefs backfield for myself there. So running back, Kareem Hunt, and we will go, oh my gosh, yeah. And we'll go Shakir with the Bills for my... Nope, we're not going to do that. I'm already stacked there. So for quarterback, I'm going to go Jaden Daniels. Give me Jaden. He is... I think he's my number 1 quarterback this weekend.
Yeah.
Todd?
All right, I got to go Shakir then. I'll take him.
I already got him.
No. I thought you said
no, you're right. You're right. Yeah. You tried. Okay. You're following my lead. I see.
Oh.
Shakir.
Khalil.
That's a great pick.
Shakira. Back to back.
Yeah. Give me Hopkins.
The guy that had 0 catches last week, I think.
You like the A.J. Brown pick, though. I mean, Hollywood didn't have a catch either, did he?
No Chiefs had catches outside of Kelce.
Yeah, exactly. No receivers. I guess I'm gonna get Mahomes at the end, so no need to do that now. Give me the Bills defense.
Wow.
Going up against Josh Allen. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Other way, but
close enough.
Yeah.
Go up against Mahomes.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Give me the Chiefs
have a
defense.
weird game plan.
Chiefs defense. Don't like this at all. Give me the. I guess I'm gotta go kicker here. Who
I've gotta go
is going to score points? Give me the Eagles kicker. I'll go with the Eagles kicker.
Who, and his name is?
That's Jake.
The snake.
Jake Folk, right?
Jake Folk. I think you combined a couple of them.
Jake
yeah.
what?
Allen.
Jake Allian? Oh, Jake Elliott. Yeah. Yeah, Jake. I knew it. I knew it was Jake. Jake Elliott. Okay. And I get back to back, and I need a defense and a tight end. I'm going to go tight end here, Zach Ertz.
I cannot see what I need right now.
You need a kicker.
Okay, give me Tyler Bass. It's Bill's kicker.
That's a good one. Henry?
Oh, yeah.
Round yourself out.
I'll round myself out with the... I'll take the Bills kicker. I will take Mahomes. His name...
I'm not letting you get away with just Bills kicker.
No, I took him.
Oh, you took the Bills?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I know Harrison Butker, so I'll take that one.
He's been off this year.
He's been terrible. That's why he's third on my list.
Yeah. And I'm going to go to round off my defense. I'm going to go
Is it my turn?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, but you can take him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go the Eagles defense. Please and thank you.
Guess I'll go Gainwell at the Eagles.
Boom. There you go. Boom. We'll see. Henry's going to tally these up before Monday. Let us know who you would pick, and let's hit a couple of super chats on our way out. And before we do, hit us with a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Helps us out a lot. Our first super chat coming in from Chad, who says, "Happy birthday, Henry. Great show, fellas. Love the DNVR." Thank you. We love you too, Chad. Thank you so much. And happy birthday to Henry. And Rickert Bohr says, "Holy cow, can we make that just a tiny bit bigger, please?"
That's what she said.
He's coming in with 6 pounds here. That is awesome.
Might be a lot. Who
says, "I just joined, not sure if already mentioned, but thoughts on the coaching situation in the AFC West. Who has the best? Who has the worst?" Rickert, great question, because we are going to break that down on Monday's show. So make sure to stay tuned Monday, 11 a.m. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in with us. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the championship games this weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Happy birthday, Henry. And most importantly, well, happy birthday, Henry's most important. And also,
very true.
Go Bills. We'll see you Monday, 11 a.m.
We all silly like the mayor.